Okay, so what I want from Power BI is to give some feature to me where I can apply the incremental refresh, where I can apply the incremental refresh settings into our data sets. Let's talk about this. What is the meaning of this incremental refresh? As I told you that we are not interested to refresh the whole historical data. Maybe you are interested to refresh. Maybe you are very sure that okay, the data must have been updated for the last 10 days only, and that is the real scenario. The data may get updated for last 5 days, 10 days, but not before that. Okay, so I'm not interested to load the whole historical data again and again to refresh and load the whole historical data again and again, because definitely it will take a huge amount of time and it will be totally wastage of resources as well. So for avoiding this problem, Power BI has given a very nice feature called as incremental refresh. Okay, so what about this incremental refresh? It definitely gives us three main features, three main facilities. First, the refreshes are very quicker in comparison to refreshing the whole data set, because definitely compare refreshing the data for the last 10 days in comparison to last 10 years is definitely very faster. More reliable, because definitely if you are loading the whole data set from historical for the last 10 years, 15 years, maybe your credentials will session timeout problem will again and again it will happen, and you will face a lot of problems as well. So it will be more reliable as well to just go ahead and refresh it for the last 10 days. Resource saving, yes, definitely reduce the resource consumption, and very helpful. So that's what the agenda. I'll explain you practically how to apply this incremental refresh on your data sets. Okay. So for that, we have to do 4 steps. I'll tell you one by one step. The first step is define the filter parameter into your data set, which we'll do using the Power Query editor. Use the parameters, what you have created to apply the filters on your data set. Define the incremental refresh policy, and then finally save and publish the changes to your Power BI services. Okay, so that it can be configured onto the cloud. Great. So let's talk about how to define these filter parameters. What filter parameters I have to define? I have to define two filter parameters. The one is for range start and the other one is range end. What are these two? Let's talk about them now. What is range start is I want to tell Power BI that, okay, I want to refresh the data set. I want to load the data set from maybe let's say year 2015 to year 2020. I don't want to start it from year 2000 once again and load from a beginning of 2000 to 2020. I don't want to do that. I want to load the data set from my range start of 1st January 2015, and my range will end up on 31st December 2020. Okay. So in between of that, whatever values of data in between of that range, I want to load that data set only. Okay. So let's see how to do that. So let's go back. Let's come back to practical way. So if we go to Power BI and we'll open up transform data, we'll open up Power Query editor window. So here in the home menu bar itself, you will find the option of manage parameters. What exactly is this manage parameters? So make sure that your fact table is having the in the sales table, sorry, the fact table, the data type should be date and time. So it's already working absolutely fine. I don't have any problem from that. So now click on manage parameters. So click on new parameter. Okay. And give the name of your parameter as I told you, range start. Okay, if you want to put any description, you can put so that your team members can get a help out of it to understand it. Okay, and then type, make sure that you are selecting date and time. Don't do any mistake here. Make sure that you are selecting date, time, period time, and keep the suggested value any value only, because we are not giving a list of value, a query or nothing. We are giving just any value only. And what is the current value from where I want to start my range? I want to start my range for this particular data set. I'm starting from, let's say, 2005, and the timing will be 12:00:00 a.m. That's it. Okay. So I said that, okay, I want to load the data from year 2005. I don't want to start from year 1999. I want to start from year 2005, from 1st January 2005. So I'm done with the first parameter. Hit on OK. Done. It will be defined here on the other query section. Great. Now click on once again manage parameter. Click on new parameter. This time the parameter name will be range end. Okay. So ending range, so range end. Once again, you can put some description if required. Select the data type as date and time. Keep the values as any value only. and current value I want to give, let's say 31st December 2020. Okay, or whatever range you want to apply. So give the timing as 12:00 a.m. once again. Absolutely fine. Done. Hit OK. Done. Great. Now, as I told you, this is our first step. Now we need to apply these parameters to our sales fact filtering for filtering the data. So I'll go to sales and I'll select my date column. I'll click on this arrow button here and click on date time filters and click on custom filter. As soon as I do that, it will ask me, okay, I want to say that, okay, I want the data is after or equal to what? Equal to a parameter of range start. Choose the parameter from your drop down. Yes, range start. And then I want the dates which is before or equal to the second parameter, which is my range end. Then hit OK. Will take 1 minute of time to filter the data. Yes, just give it 1 or 2 minutes of time. Great. So it is done now. So hit on close and apply. Definitely it will take 1 or 2 minutes of time to start loading the data here. We have to wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Meanwhile, you can go ahead on your own machines and start creating the same parameters which I have done as per your data set or any of the project in which you are working right now. We will take a pause of 2 minutes. So meanwhile, it will keep on loading. Just give me 1 or 2 minutes. Sometimes when the data is very huge, and now the next step, what we need to do, we have done two initial steps. We have defined the parameters. We have applied the parameters to our filtering. Click on the sales spec table and you will find the option of incremental refresh. As soon as you hit on that, you will it will give you some warning that, okay, if you remember initially I discussed a very important feature of query folding. The same thing it is giving here. You can leave it for right now. Make sure that you are keep turning the button on of the incremental refresh. Now it is asking you store the rows from where column in the last what. Again, I want to say that, okay, I want to store the data into my data set only for last 5 years. Okay. Select the value for days, months, or years. I want to say years and refresh the last 10 days rows only. Refresh the data for last 10 days of rows only. Okay. Done. Now hit on apply all. Great. Done. Save your changes. We have told Power BI that, okay, I want to load the data for my last 5 years. And inside, after loading my data, I want to daily refresh my data set as per my space or what the schedule parameters which I have given to refresh my data set. I want to refresh the data set only for last 10 days every time. Okay, so don't refresh the data set from beginning every time whenever it's happening, the refresh operation is happening. It should not begin from beginning of the for the historical data. I want to begin. I want to refresh for the last 10 days only. Okay, a beautiful and a wonderful feature which helped us to do a lot of resource saving plus a lot of uh, time saving as well. Okay, a very smart operation. If you remember when we were discussing about the direct query mode, the live connection mode, these features are not applicable on that part. The reason is they are automatically already refreshed. This is we require when we are importing the data into Power BI. This option is required when you are importing the data into the Power BI. Okay, it is not required for live connection or direct query because we are already fetching the data directly from the source. So we don't need to be worried. It will only give us the updated data every time. Okay. So now if you go to parameters, you will find but it's already defined. Don't worry. It's not showing here, but may be possible on this data set. Okay. Just a moment. But our parameters has already been defined. It's not refreshed here. I think so. It will be, but we have defined the parameters and whatever refresh schedule you will do, it will handle up this one automatically. It will set up the refresh. Incremental refresh policy has been set up properly. So you don't need to be worried about that. Leave it, move ahead and do practical on your own machine. So I have added some screenshots here. What I have done, the same thing which I have done, I have applied the filter. Then we have applied those filters into our data set using the parameters. Both the parameters done, and then we loaded the data set, and then finally we have applied the incremental refresh policy. Okay, so make sure that you practice it. A very useful feature. So make sure that you are going through it, practicing it. That's it for this module.